But I have to start tonight with something I never thought I would say. And that is, I agree with J.D. Vance.
If Watergate happened tomorrow, it would be like a 12-hour news story.
Okay, J.D., that was J.D. Vance at the Nixon Library yesterday, making what I would say is a very good point that I don't think he intended to make. Stay with me here. While bizarrely trying to downplay the seriousness of the Watergate scandal, Vance basically made the very astute point in the process that the Trump administration does stuff like Watergate all the time. I mean, there's the obvious stuff like how Trump tried to overturn the results of the 2020 election, how he encouraged a violent mob to march to the Capitol and stop the election from being certified, a mob that actively tried to hang his own vice president. All of that definitely feels worse than Watergate. But I actually think the point J.D. Vance accidentally made is more fine-tuned than that. Because what is really so unbelievable about the Trump administration this time around, in Trump's second term, is how Trump does Watergate-level impeachment-worthy stuff so often that we can hardly process it before we have to move on to the next thing. Seems like every month we learn about a new perceived Trump enemy that the Justice Department is targeting with sham investigations. But like a frog in a slowly boiling pot, that almost feels normal now. And it's hard to focus on because there's just so much else going on. There's the fact that Trump's son-in-law has reportedly been soliciting billions of dollars for his investment firm from countries in the Middle East, while acting as one of Trump's top negotiators and advisors in that very same region, which he swears is ethical. I mean, there's the fact that companies with ties to Trump adult sons keep landing major government contracts, which they say is okay because the president isn't involved. Or that foreign countries keep enriching the Trump family to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars, while Trump makes decisions as president that affect those same countries and laughably insists there's no conflict there. Then there's the whole list of people who Trump pardoned or commuted the sentence of, which the White House insists has nothing to do with the donations or other favors those very same people have made. Then there was Trump's sham lawsuit and so-called settlement with his former personal lawyer that attempted to create a slush fund to reward people who had committed crimes in his name. And the deal Trump made with his own IRS to block them from auditing him or his family or their businesses. I could go on here. I mean, any of those scandals could easily be another Watergate. There's a lot we don't even know about all of those scandals at this point. Like the militarized horrors Trump has ordered on the streets of American cities, the innocent Americans who have been killed by federal agents, the thousands of innocent immigrants who have been rounded up and thrown into prisons. So yeah, JD, can I call you JD? I'm going to. I agree. Given the sheer quantity of Trump scandals, yeah, I think Watergate probably would be just a 12-hour story these days. Probably would be. I mean, on Tuesday, just this last Tuesday, Trump publicly blurted out that he pressured a U.S. attorney to launch an election fraud investigation in California without any real evidence. That was Tuesday. Do you even remember that story? That's what I'm talking about here. I mean, in a normal world, any of the scandals I just mentioned would be worthy of an impeachment inquiry and possibly even criminal investigation. Richard Nixon resigned the presidency over far less. But back then, he, and this is the key part, the Republican Party had some capacity to actually feel shame and some incentive to actually do the honorable thing. In contrast, the Republican Party of today is just a cult of personality. The Republican Party doesn't have any real internal policy debates anymore. You're either with Trump or against him. I just have to ask you about this because I started the show talking about how I think he was telling on himself or themselves a little bit. I mean, the notion that if Watergate happened tomorrow, it would be like a 12-hour news story is quite a statement to make. Obviously, he was down playing Watergate, which is insane to begin with. But what do you make of that statement? What is he trying to do there? What do you think about that?
You know, I think it's, I think the statement is fascinating, and there are many different ways to say why it's interesting. Some of it is that it's true, right? But I think what it reveals more is about what J.D. Vance's vision for America is that he wants more of the same. He doesn't want anything to change in this country. He wants to continue the reality that corruption is, you know, banal, normal. And he loves the way that the country is being governed right now. He loves that you can start an illegal war and make tons of people rich and, you know, send Americans into harm's way, and that it'll barely be a blip on people's radar. He loves that we can engage in record levels of corruption and get away with it. And so in that statement, it's less about the acknowledgement of the reality, but it's that his vision for the future is exactly the same, and that your life won't change so long as he's in charge.